I have the unenviable position of being last, so I know I'm standing in the way of you, the bar, and networking. So it's literally about 4 minutes. What I'm talking to you today is Revenge of the Nerds. So Back to the Future, Marty McFly arrived yesterday, right? And he found when he came here, he didn't find hoverboards and hovercrafts and all sorts of other things. He found that the nerds had actually taken over business. And the mantra of disrupt or be disrupted has never been more true. Since the year 2000, I was here for the Sydney Olympics, 52% of the Fortune 500 have disappeared. We're living it. Sometimes we forget how quickly it happens. We heard from Facebook tonight. They're a perfect example of a company that has come in and disrupted. And there's a few other companies that have done it as well. Uber, Facebook, Alibaba, Airbnb. You guys have probably seen this, but just to reiterate the point that was made tonight, this is around digital service delivery. These guys don't hold inventory. They connect people via mobile and they provide seamless experiences. My experience today in Uber, I took a photo of my credit card. I was able to order my taxi. I could see it arrive. I got out of the taxi and I didn't have to pull out my credit card. It was absolutely perfect. So the new rock stars aren't actually rock stars. Once upon a time, I wanted to be a rock star. I actually want to be an app developer. And there's probably a whole heap of you here tonight thinking about different ideas for an application. What I want to tell you tonight is that developing an application isn't the simplest thing in the world. It's actually quite complicated. And I want to give you a little bit of appreciation for what happens when an application or a website doesn't go the way that it should. You see, when you're developing an application, it's actually ridiculously complicated. In this room, we've probably got a magnitude of different devices, different operating systems, multi-geo. We're blessed with the world's fastest internet in Australia, aren't we? And if you're marketing into China, well, you're trying to launch a website into China, Facebook, Twitter, Google, all blocked in that country. So it's very difficult. And then we move into cloud services. There's Docker containers, applications, third party. It's really, really complicated. And all it takes is one little break in that chain in order for you to have a bad experience. If we drill down specifically just to Android, there are 24,000 different unique Android devices, which is up 28% from last year. And they all have different screen sizes, and they all have different the way the operating system works. Specifically, I wanted to tell you an example about Runtastic. So what I want to help highlight is the tolerance that you need to have when an application doesn't work. So Runtastic is a client of ours, and they were recording record times when people were going for runs. We're talking, you go out for a run, you come back, and it's supposed to be 10 Ks and you've run it in 5 minutes. So they noticed that they had a bit of a problem. People were starting to complain. Immediately, they blamed Runtastic. That's your first impression. This stupid phone, this stupid app, it's completely out. But what actually was happening, and with our software, they were able to drill down and find it was only happening on a single Android device, a Samsung Galaxy S5. They were also able to find out that it was only happening on a particular version of Android. And with that, they were able to work out that it was actually the GPS tracker in that particular phone that was the problem and not their application. So that prevented their development team from spending hours on end, months, years trying to fix the problem. They could reach out to their community and say, I'm sorry guys, we understand there's a problem and it's with that particular device. There is nothing we can do about it until Android updates. But of course, we don't care because we're a generation of spoiled idiots. We share our views on Google and Apple whenever we get a chance, and we're quick to jump to conclusions. The app is broken, bang. And then we also are very transient. So there are different applications that you can use. So for instance, when I experienced a bad Runtastic experience, I jumped to the Nike app. And the Nike app is almost identical, isn't it? And what's actually interesting is Nike have come out and said they now employ more software developers than they do apparel designers. So I thought that was supposed to be a shoe company, but now it's technology that's leading the way. And incidentally, Runtastic was also bought out by Adidas as well. So they're competing on technological terms. What's really important is that when people complain about the application or the website, sometimes it's not always that application or the website that's the problem. It could be your device, as I've mentioned, and we need a little bit more tolerance. And what I actually foresee happening is that social media teams will have access to the data, and instead of giving you that generic "Oh, we're really sorry, we'll look into that, sir. Can you tell me which device and which browser you're looking on?" Well, theoretically, actually not even theoretically, they actually can see what device that you're using, and they can recommend a fix. I had the fortune of having Gopal Brugalet from Nordstrom, and they're a retail leader. He came out to Australia last month. They're a customer of ours. Those guys have 44 performance engineers. They are sitting there testing the website so that it is an absolute seamless experience. He found that a 0.5-second increase in response time reduced conversions by 11%. So for a retailer the size of Nordstrom, that is many, many millions of dollars. And they use that data to make their decisions on features and functionality within their stores. Of course, we all understand this, right? You guys all get how important it is to have really fast loading websites because we always complain as soon as there is a problem. So when we're developing the websites, we always make them really quick, don't we? No, we don't. That's the Australian retail the global retail testing. So we ran tests on 300 retailers globally for the last year, and we continue to do it. The top 30 shows Australia at 7.76 seconds. We're nearly 4 seconds away from the US. We're ripe for being disrupted. Apple, as an instance, their site loads in 1.9 seconds. Our average is 7.76, so we can't blame the network for the situation that we're in. And it's time that this data was brought forward so we can help encourage our local industry to make sure we exist in the next 10 years. So very lastly, what Dynatrace does is we provide insights into everyone's user journey and their user experience from a mobile application and a mobile phone all the way through a complex IT delivery network right through to the mainframe. We work with some of the leading companies globally, and we also have just recently launched a new product which is a startup within our business, and we're disrupting our own business model. So we're practicing what we preach. The product is called Ruxit, and it has artificial intelligence built into it, similar to Siri, which will enable you to have voice command and prompts for any issues that are occurring with applications and websites. So at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is, these are some of the companies we work with, what we're trying to do is help all our customers find a needle in a haystack. So thank you very much for listening, and have a great night.